Thanks for joining me for practice today. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel and share it with your family and friends. And in the description is a link to my Patreon account. If you'd like to offer a donation, it's greatly appreciated. Namaste. Begin on our backs, but if you have a strap handy or something that you can use in place of a strap, that would be really helpful. And just allow your spine to settle into the earth. If it's comfortable, allow the legs to be long, arms down by your side, palms face up. If that is uncomfortable, you need some support, place a rolled up towel or bolster underneath your knees, just to give you a little bit more support for the lower back. And then let the heaviness of the body settle into the earth. And then feel the structure and support of the earth in return. And as the body softens, begin to watch the effortless rise and fall of the abdomen along with the breath. And if you find that your breath is up in the chest a little bit more, see if you can slowly direct it down into what feels like the belly. This helps to stimulate that part of our nervous system that allows us to relax more deeply. And then once you establish the belly breathing, see if you can slow it down and create a 1 to 2 rhythm. So if you can breathe in for a count of 4, start by exhaling for a count of 6, which is just 2 counts longer than the inhale. And then once you feel comfortable with 4-6, you can slowly grow it to 4-7. And allow the longer exhale to release more tension, more gripping. And still keeping it fairly directed in the belly. Begin to move the breath now to 4-8. So this is a true 1 to 2 breath. If any part of that feels uncomfortable, stick with what is comfortable so as to keep the nervous system relaxed. And then if you'd like, you can slowly start to add in a soft ujjayi sound to the breath. That's that ocean wave or whisper type sound. It doesn't have to be strained or stressed in any way, just gentle ujjayi. And still keeping the breath down in the belly. We're going to work on our practice today, building into this 1 to 2 breath. And exhales are known to help us release and let go. So those longer exhale breaths help us both physically, mentally, and emotionally. And sometimes we're conscious of what we're releasing, and at other times we're just letting go of general stress or tension. So you can bring your hands together in front of your heart, let your thumbs touch your sternum, and tuck your chin so it feels like you're bowing your head to your hands. And we'll continue that 1 to 2 breath here as we set that as the intention for our practice. And if there's anything that you know consciously you're letting go of, or any kind of well wishes you'd like to put forward into your practice, please state that mentally now. And then we'll place this here in the heart, surrounding it with loving kindness. And we're going to begin the practice with a chant of Om, but we're going to do that with some arm movement. So bring your legs and feet together now, feet flexed, arms down by your side, palms facing down. Inhale, reach the arms over the head, and this time fill the belly, then the ribs, then the chest as the arms reach all the way to the top. And now exhale, belly, then ribs, then chest, a little bit slower as you take that longer exhale to bring the arms down. Good, do that again. Inhale, so about 4 counts here. Belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling, belly, ribs, chest, we'll chant Om. Inhale again. Keep going. Two more, please. Just rest for a moment. Inhale, lift your left arm up over the head. Take your right hand down towards your thigh. Bow your upper body to the right, and you can wiggle the shoulders over if you'd like, and come into what feels like half moon here on the floor. Now we're not going to take it into that full banana pose right now. We're going to keep it in this position, just because we're beginning that warming process. But send your breath and awareness down into that left side and really expand the breath into the rib cage, that section between the low ribs and the hip, and maybe even down the side of the leg. Now as you inhale, you're going to breathe directly into those areas of tension, but the exhale is longer, so take your time to melt that, just like butter melting in a pan. Good, one more here. Nice and gentle, but even though it's gentle, it's deep. And then exhale and slowly bring the arm down. You can square back off to your mat, wiggling your shoulders back. Feel balanced and stable. And then inhale the right arm up and over the head. So left arm now reaches down the left thigh, outside of the thigh as you bow to the left. Shoulders are going to wiggle over. Keep your feet flexed, so it's almost like you're doing this in that standing position. And just notice here as you move deeper into the posture that there might be some inconsistencies between the right and left sides. But either way, you're going to direct your breath into those areas of sensation. Keep relaxing on exhale. Remember that quality of letting go. Good, one more full breath here. Keep releasing. And then gently bring your arm back down, wiggle back into that neutral position, and just feel. Good. Bend your knees deeply, draw the knees into the chest, and we'll start with some Apanasana here. So hands rest gently on top of the knees, fingertips point towards the toes, using mostly your core strength, so keeping the hands soft. You're going to inhale the knees away from you, just to arm's distance, and then exhale, contract your abdomen, and bring the knees back to the chest. And repeat that again. Inhale, knees move away just to arm's distance, and exhale, knees pull into chest. Good. Now inhaling is 4 counts. And taking your time to exhale the full 8 counts. So you got to go nice and slow, and it really quiets the mind down. And I would suggest, at least in the beginning of the practice here, that you continue to count the length of the breath. That just the steady rhythm of counting is a great focus for the mind. Please continue. Feel that gentle rocking over the sacrum, and particularly the lower abdomen engaging down towards the earth, supporting the lower back. One more here. Good. Now, if you can grab that strap or whatever you're utilizing and wrap it around the right foot, we'll extend the left leg long to the floor. So holding the strap with your right hand, flex your right foot and try to pull back on the pinky toe side of that foot, pushing through the ball of the big toe. Left hand can just rest gently on top of your left hip bone. And then we're going to start to make small little circles with the leg. And just maybe notice if there's some tension there in the back of the leg or in the hip. And then as the hip gets more comfortable and begins to open, you can take wider circles. If those circles get really wide, you might have to use both hands on the strap or find a way to make it comfortable. And just bringing that range of motion into the joint. It's a ball and socket joint. So we have this amazing capacity for movement here. Same as our shoulder. All right, now when you finish the last round, hold the strap as close to the foot as you can and take the right leg out to the side. Again, left hand can just rest on that hip bone. Press through the heel of the foot and just allow the inner thigh to open up. Now, the left hip's going to want to come off the floor, so you're almost externally rotating it in the opposite direction to anchor it down. And then slowly come back, switch your hands on the strap and let that foot go across the body. Right arm opens up into a T shape. You don't have to go down very far, just to where you feel comfortable. The outside of the hip now gets a beautiful stretch. And if you want to take it into a cervical twist, gaze over the right shoulder. Deep breaths. As we move more into the physical practice, you can maintain that 4-8 count if that's comfortable, but sometimes we need to go to a 4-6. So whatever is right for you, or maybe 4-7, something in between. And then slowly come back to center. And now you're going to bring that leg as close to the body as possible. Keep lifting through the inner heel of the right leg. Feel the back of the neck long, chin in, spine long. So a lot of times we want to jut the chin forward when we feel that tension. And then we're going to release the strap and just nice and slow, use your core strength to take that leg down to the floor. And for a moment, just feel. Sometimes feels a little longer than the other leg. And we'll do the other side now. So left foot goes up in the air, strap goes around it. Just start there first by becoming comfortable opening up the back of the left leg. Pinky toe, side of the foot pulls down. Big toe pad pushes towards the ceiling. Back of the neck lengthens. Back of the thigh lengthens. And then start your small little circles here. Be gentle, ease into it. And you can feel how the joint will slowly let go. And then you can make those circles wider as the body gives you permission. So you're just responding to the sensations in the body. See how wide you can get that circle. Good. And then holding your strap as close to the left foot as possible, take the left leg out to the side. Again, right hand can press onto the hip bone, anchoring that towards the earth, maybe even externally rotating it if you need, and then allow the inner thigh of your left leg to really release. Breathe into that area that feels tight, wherever it is for you. You know, that inner thigh is connected into the pelvic floor where we first encounter the root chakra. This is our feeling of safety and security, survival and family. So this is an area that many people feel needs a little support, love, and care. We want to bring some good, healthy energy to that area. Good. Now we'll switch hands on the strap. So reach over with your right hand. Leg can come over to the side, and you can just go to where you're comfortable. Feel that outer left hip. Left arm opens up into a T. If you'd like, gaze over the left shoulder. And now notice the outer hip getting a beautiful stretch. Again, we get really tight, especially if we sit for long periods of time, or sometimes even standing if the posture is not correct. And then this gluteal muscle, sometimes glute max, a lot of times glute med gets really tight on us. So this stretch will get right in there. And you can internally rotate your supporting leg, and that will help to anchor down just a little bit more. One or two more deep breaths here, right into that sensation. Let the exhale be longer so it can take the tension away. Just let it go. And then slowly come back. And now we're going to hold as close to that strap as possible, but really we're pulling the leg as close to the forehead as we can. And that might not look like much of a difference from the first time. That's okay, we're just warming up. But lift through the inner heel of your left leg. That will really help. Creating some length along the backside. Good, and then we'll release the strap, and again, take your time, use your core strength to let that leg go all the way to the floor. And then just feel it for a minute. Notice the sensations there. You can move the strap out to the side. Good, we're gonna do one more here, which is to bend your knees and take your right ankle on top of your left knee. There'll be a triangle between your legs. Right hand goes through the triangle. left hand comes around to grab, and now you're going to pull the left thigh towards your chest, taking the foot off the floor. So this is like pigeon pose on your back. Notice how the spine is nice and long and flat. So we're truly getting into the hip stretch here. And if the right elbow happens to touch the thigh, you can gently press the thigh away, but send your breath into that right hip pocket. Again, just another way of getting into the hip. Because it has such a wide range of motion, there's all these different muscle groups that are attached. And so we want to go right in there and breathe and release from all directions. Good. And then place your left foot down on the floor, keep the right foot where it is, and then use that top foot to guide the knee over to the right. And once again, we're going to get into the outer hip, but now you might feel this a little bit more down the outside of the thigh as we get into IT band, maybe in the waist a little bit here. You don't have to put any extra pressure down through that foot. The gravity will do enough work for you. And then gently come back, and we'll switch sides. Right foot down, left foot to the knee, triangle between the legs, left hand through the triangle, right hand around the thigh, lift the leg off the floor and start to pull the thigh towards the chest. And keep your feet slightly engaged. This helps to protect the knee joint. And again, notice if there's any inconsistencies on right and left side. Send breath into that left hip pocket now. If the elbow touches the thigh, you can gently push it away. Keep that 1 to 2 breath, or exhale at least 2 counts longer than the inhale. And then place the right foot down on the floor. Keep the left foot where it is, so that top foot's going to guide the knee over to your left. And then you can open the arms out if you'd like, gaze over the right shoulder, but we're really stretching into the outside of the right thigh now. And that's just a suggestion, because sometimes we feel it in different places depending on where we hold our tension, so just observe. Last complete breath here. And then gently come back, and we'll bring the knees into our chest one more time, nice and symmetrical here. Hands underneath the knees, and roll yourself all the way up into seated. From seated, we'll come forward into tabletop position and begin some undulations for the spine. So hands directly under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tops of the feet, press firmly into the floor. I'm going to inhale, lift the heart, lift the sit bones, look up. Then exhale, round the back, tailbone under, lower belly lifts, and then we're going to make a big circle to our right. So hips reach over to the right, circle all the way around to the left, head and neck is relaxed. And then inhale, come back to neutral, heart lifts, sit bones lift again. Exhale, empty out, tailbone lengthens, navel back. And now this time we're going to make a big circle the opposite way. So hips go to the left, circle all the way around, head stays relaxed, and then come back to neutral, and again repeat. So inhaling, cow pose, exhaling, cat, and then we just take that extra moment to swing the hips to the right, all the way around to the left, and come back. One more together, inhale, cow, and exhale, cat. And hips to the left and swing around. The key is keeping that neck relaxed, because this seems to have a correlation to the hips. Keep repeating opposite sides, right and left. And you can go a little more quickly or a little more slowly through that hip circle, depending on how it feels for you. One more to the right, one more to the left. Good, and then we're going to stay in tabletop for one more moment. Look over your right shoulder at your right hip. So you're going to feel a lateral stretch along the left side of the body. It's a little bit of what we call like a wag the tail. So the right side is contracting, left side is lengthening. And then go back to the other side. We're going to look over our left shoulder. See if you can see your tail or your hip in your left gaze. Right lateral is opening. And then at your own pace, there's no breath really associated, but keep that steady rhythm. Go back and forth a few times. So you can go again slowly or quickly, just listening to the body. So this separation between the low rib and the hip, there's just a tiny muscle in there that hikes the hip up. It's called the quadratus lumborum. And it tends to get really tight. We do a lot of movement from this area of the body. Think of everything that you do from your waist. And if you are like me, sadly, when I'm standing in line at a grocery store or something, I'm usually sinking into one hip over the other, or I might carry my handbag on one side over the other. And so we don't have balance. We usually have some inconsistencies here on right and left. All right, and then come back to neutral. Sit on your heels for just a moment, and we'll take care of those wrists. So just wrist circles, arms extend out, thumbs in, fingers wrap around, Mushti Mudra. And then we can circle in the other direction. And then we'll point the fingertips towards the knees, put the weight forward into the palm of the hand, and lean back towards the fingertips, navel in. Stretching into the forearms and the wrists. And then we'll do the opposite, peel the fingers off. Now fingertips point in towards one another, tops of the hands come down, and we actually lean forward a little bit, micro bend the elbows, and if you want, you can make small little fists. You can engage and release back and forth with the fingers, and just notice, do you hold tension there in the wrists? And then sit back on your heels and just give a gentle shake, just making sure that they're happy we're on them for a little while. So tabletop position, heart lifts, sit bones lift as you look up. Toes touch behind you, and now sink back into child's pose. Forehead to the mat. If you'd like, you can bring your hands into prayer position so the palms are touching, and the hands can either stay on the floor or you can have them the heels of the hands come to the nape of the neck. And as you return to that breathing, we're going to come back into tabletop. Now, if you have a blanket or something that you can use on the floor to slide out to the side, that would be ideal. If not, you can just try to be gentle with your knees. You can put one knee on that blanket or piece of material. The other knee stays on the mat, and you're going to flex your feet like frog feet. Bring your forearms to the floor. And then as you become comfortable, let one knee slide out to the side. Now try your best to maintain the ankles and knees in alignment and feet flexed. So it looks like this frog position. Sometimes this is called Mandukasana or Bekasana, but you're going to keep the knees widening, the inner thighs lengthening. And it's really easy to dump weight into the low back here, especially if you have a little bit of, lordosis going on. So keep the abdomen pulling in as much as possible, lengthen the tailbone. And you can even do a very subtle cat-cow here with the pelvis. You might not see it on the outside, but you'll feel it just to create a little bit more flexibility, noticing as you move through some of those smaller attachments of the muscles, how you can kind of manipulate where the sensation is. And everybody's got a different place for that. So be gentle and kind to yourself. You might even get a nice little subluxation release here, a little pop in the hip. That's great. Just as long as it's gentle, not hurting you, and not forced in any way. Just a couple more here. You can either continue that cat-cow or just stay stable if that feels right for you. Again, this is that direct line to the root chakra. We all hold tension here. And now walking your forearms forward, let your belly come down, let your toes touch behind you. Rest your chin on your hands, stacking one hand over the other. Soles of the feet are going to come together, and now let the toes reach down towards the earth. Now, they may not touch. That's okay. Some people have the flexibility where it will touch, but you're going to get a little bit of a different stretch here as you let gravity take those feet. Good. And then gently place your hands into the earth. Press back up and slide the knee in. Once you get to position, you're going to just sit tall on your heels for a moment. Absorb the tailbone in and lift the lower belly. You could stay in this position with the legs if you'd like, or you can move into Virasana, where the feet go wider than the hips, knees stay in. You actually spread the calf muscle out to the side, and the hips ideally touch the earth. If they don't touch the earth here, you can place a block or bolster underneath them. A really great stretch there for the inner thighs. And it counters some of the work that we've been doing here today. Vira means hero, so this is your hero pose. One more breath. And then gently come off, hips to the side. We'll come on to our backs. Bring your legs straight. Take your thumbs underneath your hips. If you've got longer arms, they might be more under the tops of your, or the upper tops of your thighs. But squeeze your upper arms and your forearms into your side body. And then Matsyasana fish. Inhale, lift the sternum, bring the crown of the head down into the earth, and puff up the chest. Reach out through the balls of the feet so that it's almost like you have those Barbie feet. Toes are spread wide. And continue to lift the sternum and the chest away from the earth. Breathe here. Sternum lifts, release the spine, let everything settle for just a moment. And final posture before Shavasana, we're going to come into a gentle inversion. If that's not comfortable for you, we'll leave the spine long and just extend the legs straight so soles of the feet are facing the ceiling. Otherwise, we'll come onto the balls of the feet, slide a block underneath the sacrum. Ideally, that block goes on the tallest edge, but if that's not possible, middle edge or low edge is fine. And then legs go up in the air. Hands are going to hold the hips, so it's almost as if we were holding up the legs ourselves. But of course, the block is taking most of that weight. This should feel comfortable, so you want the block in a position that's not going to be distracting. And here we're just going to let gravity do the work for us. Let it clean and clear out Any of the stuff that likes to stay heavy in the base of the body, let it move it towards the digestive fire so we can process it. I sometimes call that mala. And as it burns the mala, not only do we get radiant light, but it continues to fuel the fire. So if you're a visual person, you might want to visualize those flames just consuming anything you want to let go of, anything you want to release. Physical, mental, emotional. And the body, the mind, the heart becoming lighter in the process. Use your breathing. And just a few more. And then taking your time to bring one leg down and then the other. You'll make your way into supported bridge. Rise onto the balls of the feet so you can slide your block out, and one vertebra at a time, just slowly roll your spine into the mat, lengthening the tailbone towards the heels. Let the knees fall in for just a moment. It takes no effort to hold up the legs. And then gently start to wiggle the legs long to the floor and set yourself up for Shavasana. So many of the postures that we did today stimulate the calming part of our nervous system. So notice that sensation in the body. If you have a light piece of material, block out the light in the room so the mind can turn inward. And just settle here. Just be. So very slowly begin to deepen your breath. Noticing an effortless belly breathing, drawing you back into this time and space. And without rushing, gently run the thumb across the fingertips. Pull the wrists and the ankles. And gradually bring your knees into your chest. Take a moment just to feel long spine, relaxed body. And curl over into your right side, into fetal for just a moment. Arm under the head as a pillow. And placing your hand into the earth, slowly come back up into seated. Head and neck heavy, eyes closed as you come up. And if you'd like to prop your sit bones up for a moment on a bolster, please do so. Take a moment to regulate your breath again, and maybe finding that you're still somewhere around a 1 to 2 count, but no effort to be there. Just a relaxed state of breathing. I'd like to finish the practice today with the chant, the Maha Mrityunjaya, which is a chant for healing. So I'll repeat this chant 3 times. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushti Vardhanam Urdvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamritat. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushti Vardhanam Urdvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamritat. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushti Vardhanam Urdvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamritat. We worship the all-seeing one, fragrant you nourish bounteously. From the fear of death may you cut us free to realize immortality. Namaste.